why we are here this afternoon, because we need to change what the people say about government. COVID-19 has changed the narrative. An impact. How do you want to make an impact if you do not have the right resources or the right level of resources to make an impact? The impact you will make is in your ability to do projects, to train children, to pay salaries and pay it on time, to do projects that will have an impact on the lives of the people. And all of that goes back to the Naira. If you look at Nidu's presentation, he already told us our IGRO is in single-digit units. And for a state that is as endowed as Edo State, it is a shame. It is a big shame. That means we have opportunities that we are not utilizing. That means that there are things that we should be doing that we are not doing. It's like a woman who has a womb and refuses to incubate a child. Not because she's unable to, but because she says, no, I'm the modern woman, I don't want to incubate a child. That's what we are doing. We have the womb, we have the resources, but we have refused to incubate the child. And this morning we want to see, how do we do that? What that has shown us is that our main source of funding as local government is from federal government allocation. And because there was oil in Nigeria, I think that's one of our biggest problems. Because before oil, we had a lot of resources. We had groundnuts, we had cocoa, we had rubber, we had palm oil. Where are all these resources today? Why is it not giving us IGRO? That should be mind-boggling. I was surprised to read that Malaysia exported palm oil worth over $20 billion in 2019. And the total crude oil revenue to Nigeria was about $10 billion, 50% of palm oil. And we've had knife for even before I was born. So what are we doing with the resources we have in Edo State? We have opportunities. How are we utilizing them? And that is the truth of the matter that we have come to talk about today. The main source of funding for that allocation that we are looking at is crude oil. It forms 85% of our current exchange revenue. But I'm going to show you graphs to show you that this picture is a mirage. If we are going to sit down and continue to expect that the federal government is going to fund us, then we have already lived as a state. That mega vision will not be actualized because the federal government does not have the resources to continue to support the states at the level they've done in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. Federal government earnings is on a downward trend. Year on year, we are having wider and wider budget deficits. We are borrowing to close our budget deficits as a nation. What does that mean? We are leaving debts for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren to pay that they don't know what we spent it on. Are this money being used for projects that impact the lives of the people? If it was, there won't be so much dissatisfaction amongst the common men in Nigeria. The dissatisfaction is that because all of the resources that we are seeing being borrowed is not impacting on the lives of the people. We have increased inflation over time. I'm going to show you something on that. But we are here and we want to hear from you. We want to understand from you. What is your plan in the light of all these realities to ensure that as a government, we continue to make an impact on our people, and that we will join with the vision of the governor, make Edo State great again, and ensure that every Edo man, woman, citizen, indigene, resident who has an interaction with government comes back to say, oh, this is the model state, and I'm proud that I am an Edo man. And that is where we want to be as a people and as a government. Next slide, please. I just want to do a situation analysis for you, just to show where we are. And for us to know that the EndSARS riot we saw, that we were crying, that one is chicken's play. My children will say it's moi moi leaf, because moi moi leaf, when you unwrap the moi moi, you throw away the leaf, it's useless. So the EndSARS protest we saw is moi moi leaf. When the next one comes, if we don't change the way we are doing things, that is what you would call the egg inside the moi moi. You know, that's the one that people are looking for, the one that is important. We see pair. And the thing that is even paining me in the whole matter is that at that point, the frustration will be so high, they will not be able to differentiate. between government and non-government, between multinational worker and local government chairman. So if we sit back and say, that is for people in government, it doesn't us. When the kasala burst, now all of us go run. I'm just telling you the truth as it is. When the trouble comes, if you are somebody that reads the Bible, there was one part in the Bible, I'm not so good, but I remember the story. I don't know where it is in the Bible. They said that things were so bad. The women were prizing their children. Say, you bring your pikin, may we chop today, tomorrow we'll chop my pikin. That's where we are going to in Nigeria. If you've not seen it, that is where we are going, and we need to stop, take stock, and reverse the trend so that we do not become a failed people. When the French Revolution was going to happen, from the stories I heard, they went and told Marie Antoinette that, the people are rioting, they said there's no bread. And she said that if there's no bread, they should eat cake. Person one of you afford bread, they eat cake. When the revolution came, all the royalty in France was wiped out. All of them. The people took to the streets and they decided to kill the elite. Nigerians are frustrated, so frustrated, we are almost at that point. They are so frustrated. People stayed in Lekki toll gate. They knew soldiers were coming. And they stood there to say, I beg, make them not say we're serious. That is the only reason why guns, they were able to shoot them. If to say they run, they will not shoot them. It tells you how frustrated a man is when he says, I would rather face the gun than turn my back and run. That is the level of frustration that our people are at. And we need to reverse the trend. And the people to reverse that trend in Edo State are all sitting in this room. And we want to hear from you. What are you going to do to reverse that trend? If you look at this slide, crude oil production and price. Production is going down. Price is going down. When we were small, I think it was Fala that sang it. Double wahala for the body and the owner of the body. Double wahala. Now double wahala with the CISO. The production is going down. The price is going where? So the money we are getting in federal government, is it rising? Okay, truth be told. Look at your exchange rate. Your earnings are going down. Your Naira exchange rate is going up. What does that do to the cost of living and the cost of goods of services? It's going. So when your earnings are going down and your costs are going up, there must be economics graduates in this room. I didn't read economics because I don't know money. I'm an engineer by profession. But when you see this kind of thing, it tells you a story. There's trouble looming. How do we close that gap between our earnings and the cost of our goods and services, which equates to the lives of our people and how good and effective the lives they will live is? Next slide, please. If you now look at the inflationary rate over 10 years, I said I won't even explain this one because I'm not an economist. The thing confused me, self. After I did the analysis, I can't confuse. Say, waiting this thing they talk. So I just put it down in simple terms. An item that sold for 100 naira in 2010, due to inflation over time, will cost 234 naira 54 kobo by end of 2019. That is if the inflation rate is linear. Unfortunately, inflation rate is not linear. The governor understands what I'm saying. He knows money. I don't know money. Do you understand? Inflation rate is not linear. They calculate it month on month. So it's average you are seeing. So if you do the month on month calculation, we can assume that the cost of something that cost 100 naira in 2010 is at least 500 naira as we stand today. That means 100 naira of 500 naira of today is actually 100 naira. They have something they do, net present value. If you look at the net present value, is 100 naira. Because what you can buy with that 500 naira is 100 naira what? Have we increased salaries by 500%? Have business profitability increased by 500%? So what has that done? No, we need to look at the impact. Go back. If you look at the impact on staff buying power, it has reduced by 80% from 2010 to date. This shows that both governments and the people are getting poorer year on year. The only way we can mitigate this is to look at the opportunities that are bound around us and begin to talk to ourselves and say, how do we harness these opportunities? How do we begin to increase our IGRO from 6%? And we have said and put a target that for local governments, IGRO should be circa 150% of federal government allocation within the next 3 years. And that is the vision that we want to drive. And that is where we want to be. I think I've given the message as well as I can. I know that there are other slides that actually show a lot about our revenue and all of that. Go forward. But I think the main message we want to show is that we are not where we should be. The frustration is rising. Even for me, the frustration is rising. Unfortunately, what I've come to realize, even when I go and look for old dress I wear, I go to the market, and when you get to the market, it be like, say, the face, they talk, the skin, they talk, they know, say, you get money. Waiting that you know that they know. It ain't person forehead. So it doesn't matter, you think you go run and lie, they know you, they go know you, your skin, they talk. AC don't change the game. When you come out, they'll say, now rich man be this, they will call you. And by God's grace, we will not, because we have a governor with a vision. And we're going to have local government chairmen that buy into that vision to say, enough is enough. We are here to serve. We are here to change the game. We are here to do something that will change the lives of our people. We are here because we are here to serve the people. We are leaders to serve the people because the people and God have put us here. And the only legacy we are going to leave is a legacy that will benefit the people, improve their livelihood, and give them a country, a state, a local government, and a community that they can be proud of. Thank you very, very much.